You ever go someplace and you encounter these kind of people on a regular basis? What do I mean? Let's just take a supermarket or a store like Costco or Walmart or any number of like stores. And it could be a busy store or a not busy store, okay? Um first of all, I would, whenever I'd be on the road, there would always be certain cars that were problematic. And for me, it was always like a Subaru. It didn't matter what kind of Subaru, usually a Subaru Forester or a Subaru like whatever. Like the ones with the hatches. But any kind of Subaru would do. Usually it was a Subaru, possibly a Toyota, okay? Those would always be problematic drivers for me. Whether they were driving extra slow in front of me, cutting me off, 9 times out of 10, it was a Subaru. So, but I've kind of worked through that one. But going into the super, first of all, for me, I made a video about this recently, that I haven't posted yet, but I was talking about my energy bubble, my personal energy, the sphere of energy around me that I don't want people encroaching, right? And people in public love to get into your space. They just love it. And I could go into a very quiet grocery store, because we've got several around here that are very large and yet not very many people will be in at any given time that I particularly go. So I would go to these stores and it would be guaranteed. It was almost, and I've noticed this more recently too, but any given place that I would go to, they're like the BORG. Okay. They're like the BORG. In whatever movie it was where the BORG were in it, and like, I don't know. I mean, I know there's been episodes of whatever, but like when you walk past the BORG are just kind of sitting there in their like, they're like in their sleep mode or they're in their energy save mode and they're connected to their hive mind. But as soon as you come within their trajectory, come within their line of sight that their things pick up on, they become activated, right? We know this depending on whatever stage you are deciding to be on at a given time. Those little Borgy NPCs have been, they are assigned to that store. And then when you go there, they're activated. Okay? And I can almost predict, I can predict who that problematic person is going to be. Always. It never fails. It never fails. First of all, they become very aware of me. And they will start like circling me like a hawk. Okay? They will find ways to get in my way. They'll find ways to like reach over me. Again, the store could be completely empty. They'll find ways to come down the grocery aisles that I'm in. And if I'm looking for I'm looking at something, they will then they could have walked past me, but then they'll turn around and come back. And now they want to stand in front of me looking for something. I had this happen to me one day in CVS. And I actually said something to her that was not very nice. But nevertheless, like it was happening all the time to me. And it was really like enough already. But it's kind of died down, thankfully. Okay? That's died down. But it still does kind of happen in different situations. Now, recently, I took part in a focus group, and it was 2 days. And there's always that one person that takes an interest in me that seems odd. And that's the person that is going to try and make you nuts. That's the one that's going to try to push your buttons. It's at this point now, it's not even a challenge, because I know as soon as this person engages and makes eye contact or says something to me or whatever, and it could be very innocuous, it could be a compliment on something. That's the one that you got to be like, okay. They make themselves very apparent very quickly in the game. Like wherever you are, whatever game board you're on, whatever stage you're on, they will quickly become apparent to you. Those are the ones to watch out for, okay? And to know that they're going to do something to trigger you. So be on your guard and just like not engage if you can. So like the focus group that I ended up it was a lot of money, which is why I did it, because I needed that money to put aside. But it was 2 days. It ended up being a mock trial, and they did not tell us that it was going to be a mock trial until we got there. Right. So it was very interesting. First time I've ever done that. And it was like, there was like at least 30 of us at least like 30 people. And, we were at this hotel for 2 days. We had to go every day. And you know, like if you've ever been on a jury, you know, there's always going to be there was always like some disagreement. But at the end of the day, there was this one woman who from the onset was oddly engaged with me, if that makes sense, because we were sitting in different parts of the room that we were in, and I was kind of like talking to the people that at the table that I was sitting at. Like in the morning we had breakfast and stuff like that. So I was kind of like engaging with those women. And this one, she was like all the way on a different table. So, but she, you know, at some point when we were like in the hall, like when they were giving us some time to get up and move around, she had like said something to me. And of course, you know, you pay a compliment, I'm going to respond, thank you, whatever. I'm going to, you know, be polite and kind and whatever. But I know that that's my cue to watch this person and watch how things are going to go down. Because, and during so like part of the day, we would come in, we'd have breakfast. That was probably like an hour. And then we would go into this other room. And the first day we listened to somebody reading the details of the case to us. And that was like, I don't know, an hour and a half. Then we went to lunch. And then after lunch, we were broken up into groups and we went into these individual rooms and we had to give our thoughts. So there was day one. And so there was 9 of us in each. And then day 2, but I could tell that person, of course, she was in my group. And I knew as soon as they called her name and mine, I said, you know, there you go. So anyway, yeah, so we're in there and whatever like that. And I noticed more, like, I don't think I was really giving any kind of compelling argument for my stuff. Although I was, on day 2, I was really observant on some things, but, and I had my opinions, but I was trying to not. But it seemed like everybody was talking to me at some point, and not even the woman that was like running the focus group, which was just strange. Like they were all trying to convince me of something. This is just bizarre. It's bizarre. It was very weird. But yeah, it you know, more and more so, I'm feeling like things are, which they are, you know what I mean? These things that are happening around you, they're happening because of you. But it really felt like that was there just for me. And it was a little strange. It was a little strange and it was a little surreal. And day 2 was even more so, where these people were like talking to me. Certain individuals were talking to me directly, which just did not make sense in the whole greater scheme of the thing of what we were there to do. But, you know, it's very interesting to see this kind of stuff play out. So, that's a fun little thing. If it's giving you problems in your life, that's something that you need to be aware of. It's always that person who's making themselves noticed. They're always making themselves noticed. And like I said, if you're in a store and they're going to be a nuisance, they're going to like circle you. They're going to not literally circle you, but you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what aisle you go down, they will be down there. Like, you have to like literally, and trust me, there's been times where I have stayed in one aisle for a long time to give that person time to move several aisles down. And somehow they always find their way back to me, wherever I'm at. So it's very interesting. But yeah, that's one way you can be mindful of these things happening in your day-to-day experience when you're out and about. And that's really all I want to share, because I think it's funny at this point. It's humorous. Once you notice it, it's hard not to know. You can't unsee it. Once you finally see who they are and what happens when you come into a specific place, it's like, oh, okay, this one's like, in Jumanji, the guy that gives you all the extra information and the help. That's just like, whatever. It's like that. And on that note, that's all I wanted to share about that. Till your next video.